Hey Tex, good to see you again.
Hello.
So I'm learning about our dashboard because what I want to do is not support it out of the box without some scripting. Um, so you know how we have this chart with the lines where I have all of the contribution types in one for the maintainer retainer dashboard.
Give me just a second.
Okay. Hey Lane.
I'm back.
Hello. Sorry, my computer just decided to update to I don't know, like Mac OS 26 or whatever.
Oh,
Ooh, how do you like
Yeah.
it?
Oh, I don't know. It just my entire desktop is loading in right now.
I've not yet pushed the button.
neither have I. I need to.
I always
I
like to wait until the first dot whatever release.
I might regret it. I don't know. It was kind of lagging on my phone, but I set it up earlier. Here I thought I'd have more time. Okay. One sec. I think I can swap over now.
Okay, well, see you in half an hour.
Half an hour?
I don't know. Oh,
Oh,
you're on your phone right now? You're switching to your laptop?
oh yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. No, no, no. It just I just didn't bother to actually I don't know, log in after I updated it, and so it just took a bit, but it's all done now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hello, everyone.
Good ball.
Hello. Can everyone hear me, see me? Am I lagging at all? Okay.
Not too bad.
Okay. Oh, everything's weird on my computer now.
I'll drive for you so you don't have to stress. You can just talk.
You sure? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
I guess maybe it's not that different. I think it just looks different. Anyways, yeah, okay. So a few things we wanted to talk about today. Oh wait, actually, are we recording yet?
Yes. Auto record.
Chair of OSC. Okay. So first up, we have the MRP individual application. So that was with respect to that we actually did not go live with the individual application form for the maintainer retainer program, and I think we had it partially or fully done. Does anybody
Fully
know
done.
the status of that, Christian?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I can report on that. It was fully done. It was run by people in core project management. They had comments on it. some compromises were made to questions prior to that, and I think the compromises were accepted. So we're ready to go on that, as far as I'm aware, unless any other amendments have come in since I last checked.
It's basically the project forum is also with IOE for Jeff and the core team leads to discuss what each project wants on its community maintainers.
No,
It's
this is a different question. This is the individual maintainer application form. that
Oh,
people
gotcha.
are-
Yeah. Then I think that form's in draft. We're just waiting for the project list to be finalized via the project interest form, and then we'll send that out within a week or so.
Okay. Sorry, what was the thing that you needed to finalize to get that out?
It's the project interest form. Basically, for every project that nominated themselves or wants to apply, they submit that so we know what the scope is they're looking for in a community maintainer,
Okay.
and we can align that before the maintainers join
Okay.
those projects.
Okie dokie. Yeah. Not to stress anyone out, but I think if we can bump that up like reasonably, like to next thing, I think it would be good because I had the interview questions. Well, I think they're done. They might be a little tight to finish in an hour, so we have to decide on like what we want to do about that. If we want to pad like an extra 15 minutes or something, or just cut some of them. But they're mostly done, and I posted them in the chat. So we can start doing interviews pretty soon. Oh yeah, Jonathan Kelly.
The approval of interview questions, would that be best to be done off a publicly recorded meeting that would expose what all those interview questions were in advance?
Yes.
Just as a process.
Yes, that would be good. That would be a good idea.
We do have the work session later today that we can do that in.
That is that's in a few hours, right? I don't think.
Yeah.
It's time to take a nap. Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't think I can make that, so I think we'll have to schedule like something else. I don't know if anybody has time after this.
Okay.
I think I'm blocked. Actually,
You're
no,
blocked?
I'm not. I've got 30 minutes after this.
Okay,
We
cool.
can run through them fast.
Yeah, we could also just try to finish everything fast so we have time for that. And worst case scenario, it's like there, so like I might not be able to clarify things, but like I think it's complete. Okay. So then I guess there were well, I guess we already talked about that, the interview questions to MRP. We can't discuss that further here. Then we wanted to talk about the TSC compliance criteria tool. Sorry, could you update on that again? I think Jonathan Kelly was talking about that before. About like the tool.
I think Christian can talk further on it, but just for the sake of a public recording, yeah, there's instead of asking people to self-assess and checkbox things in an application form, there's a script being worked on that has a checklist of things to be eligible to apply under the tooling budget line, and it's just to give people feedback automatically on their repositories on what needs tweaked, rather than having them apply, being rejected with notes, and then apply and being rejected with notes in a cycle. They can get pre-prepared before application, which would make the whole system smoother.
Cool. And yeah, we mentioned that before, and it sounds good to me. That's not actually done right now, right? That's just somebody's building that.
To clarify, the draft is live on the open source office repo since it's kind of inactive at the moment. What this is it's a phase 1 approach. They do self-attestation. We get the projects that are interested. They do demos to the tooling working group, and then there's a phase 2 selection criteria. Then that recommendation is put together, brought to the OSC for finalization, essentially. So the tool's not fully finalized. It's just in draft. I think Arno and Leonard are going back and forth on it. So.
Okay. And who's going to actually no, hold on. Adam Dean, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to raise, since Arno isn't here today, or if he is.
I see him there. Hello, Arno.
Maybe he is, but he had raised a comment, and I don't know if it got addressed because it's still early this morning, and I haven't gotten to Discord messages yet. Like, where is this script coming from? Like, who is developing it? Because you're asking people to give in like API access to their GitHub accounts and everything, and then run a script and trust you, bro. Do we have any like auditing or like proof of origin of that, or is it being vibe
That's-
coded? Like, where is it coming from?
Leonard Hegarty, basically with his company, wrote the script. That's why it's in draft on that repository, since it's in an active testing ground. So we got to do some tests and stuff and make sure the code's up to date. But it's just a draft. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I think Arnaud had his hand up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I looked at the script and it's pretty involved and does a lot of stuff without too much comment. And I mean, I would really like to understand where, why, what, and the whole logic behind this. Seems to me like, I mean, I'm not against it, of course, but I would like really to have a better understanding of the details. I didn't go through all the details of the script, to be honest. It does a lot of stuff, generating HTML and whatnot. So maybe I should comment on that in the PR, or I mean, the PR is already merged, as far as I know. But
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
get Leonard to talk about it. It's on the agenda for tomorrow's working group.
good. Okay. Thanks.
Jonathan Keller?
Yeah, the HTML that it generates is a sort of nice-looking report with ticks and X's about what does and doesn't match the checkbox list. But yes, absolutely, anything that's going to be run on anybody's repositories needs to be vetted properly before it gets released as a tool. But hopefully, I think something like this has been used in the past by Leonard. But yes, definitely needs to be reviewed before approval.
Yes.
Yeah, and also because the name of the script is changed from, so I mean, even the comments are not aligned. So the comment inside the script says the script is called GH self attest v11, and the name of the script is Intersect OST. What the T stand for? Self attest to the SH. So it seems really this script has been adapted quite hastily to our context. So maybe we should. Oh, okay, but probably we want to discuss that in the tooling working group.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention, like, I think, at least from my perspective, like, as if they're doing everything entirely locally, then I would say it's probably okay. Like if they're not making like network calls or anything, but someone else might have more to say on that. Adam D.
Yeah, I guess again, I'm wondering what the delta is here between this tool and kind of the reports we can already generate via Bitergia, which we already have access to as the open source office. Like,
This saves on admin time from us doing it, and it basically does a yes/no with the project. So if they run it themselves, if they see no's, they can quickly fix it and then reapply. And then they put in that summary showing that they're in alignment with that. That was the tooling working group approach. That way it's not us pulling a bunch of CSVs and running a report that way. Because we're going to be doing that when it comes to phase 2 with tooling criteria and performance tracking.
okay, because I feel like we should be able to tell Bitergia, hey, I need to like copy and paste a repository URL in here and get this exact report out and just have it done. Like that kind of feels like what Bitergia is designed for. Go ahead, Tex.
I don't want to create a work stoppage, but if I remember previously when the tooling working group proposal first came up, is originally we wanted to be a bit more selective with who was participating there, and so I'm curious, based on what's happening, a lot of the updates that we're getting are coming from Intersect being ourselves or committee members, as opposed to having somebody that can actually focus on that and then come and give maybe not just reports but proposals of directions they want to go, so we're not blindsided by things. So just looking at an order of operations, but not trying to create a work stop, and see if there's some quick and fast recruitment that we can do to start following proper process, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, just the point that I was trying to make in the chat, like literally the Cardano community constantly does this. There's perfectly good extant tooling, but nope, we have to go and create something brand new because it's Cardano, which then needs to be maintained over time, which means more money needs to come from somewhere. Like we're already paying multiple people to maintain multiple tools that literally monitor and track compliance on GitHub. And now we have yet another one for reasons. I just don't see the justification, aside from people kind of trying to backdoor in because they know better than the entire rest of the open source software ecosystem.
Jonathan Kelly, and
Yeah, I'll just record that I take an opposing view to this stance. I feel like giving people tooling and applications that help them know in advance that they're not going to be rejected out of hand for some technical small missing item is a good thing. It helps people with having fatigue of application or being rejected in a cycle. If they know that they can produce a report that has all the tick boxes required for proper assessment, then they will know they will be assessed in phase 2 rather than being rejected out of hand for maybe not having a readme.md in the right way. It just helps, in my opinion, for people to have tooling going into applications. But this is my opinion.
Adding to that too, the idea of this is because we don't know if they're accepted or not, it's something that they can quickly do that's not a burden on us. Because also to get these repositories into the Bitergia thing requires a support ticket with a day or two turnaround, and it's a lag on process. Whereas if we have 40 submissions versus adding 40 projects, it saves time. Plus, we only have so many repositories. We haven't reached our limit before additional cost is added, even if it's a one-time thing for a quick run and then we remove that repository. So it's a lot less admin is why it was proposed this way.
yeah, Tex.
Just a note that we'll need to balance that with any projects that we're pulling for maintainer retainer. I don't think that's going to bump us against our threshold, but when we're taking on projects that way, those are going to take priority over the working group ones. So
Yeah, I wanted
Can't we just use budget from both of those programs to increase our Bitergia cap? Like as a part of the tool that we need for compliance
I
monitoring?
mean, we can, Adam. It's just we're trying to save time on the evaluation period and then actually use the budget for the projects we're supporting. And
No, I was referring to tech saying that, you know, like when we start adding these things to Bitergia, we'll bump up to a limit. Those budgets can be used to increase the limit to support both the tooling and the maintainer retainer.
yeah, if OSC is cool with that, I think we can.
Sorry, go ahead, Elaine.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I wanted to mention something that like Adam like raised, but also like something kind of obvious. What are we like? Are they promising to like maintain it or anything? And like number two, like, are we actually like just to be clear, because I had assumed that like we weren't paying for it, but like, are we paying for this?
The question, are we paying for Bitergia?
No.
Bitergia is being paid for by Intersect Ops. The tool, no. This is something quick Leonard put together for the tooling working group. It's a script. The idea is it's like this one-time use unless we get budget next year. It's not something that's supposed to be heavily maintained. That's why it's in a non-risk repository at the moment. And it's literally something that was drafted within 3-4 hours on Tuesday. And we'll get a review tomorrow and start hashing out the details of it. But yeah, I mean, the tooling working group hasn't fully adopted it either. So.
Okay, cool. I'm just leaning towards like accepting it then, especially if we're not paying anything for it, because if we need Bitergia to like add a feature in the future, or like if you know if we need to stop using the tool like next year or anything, then I mean we can just do that. Like I don't think we need to prematurely worry about it. I do think though that like I don't know if like we should like if we can necessarily use that to like completely skip out on checking the repos and stuff, because I don't know, that's a higher higher risk.
Well, that's when we're talking about. Basically, because we don't know how many projects will apply, we don't want to run extensive, exhaustive reporting. We want the projects to submit that they met the threshold via this quick check. Then we'll accept them and start reviewing them against the phase 2 criteria and actual demos done to the tooling working group. So there's a more exhaustive process to this, and that's where we use our professional tooling. This is just quick check. Okay, I'm qualified to do this. Cool. Type thing.
Okay.
But we do welcome everyone to join the working group call tomorrow to hash this out. That's the detail.
Yeah, I think I am kind of a little concerned about the making sure that we checked everything like aspect to it. What time is that working group UTC?
I don't know UTC.
Noon UTC tomorrow.
It's an hour ahead of this call, basically.
Okay. Oh, okay. If it's an hour ahead of this call, like tomorrow, then I can just join that also. So, if I'm not already invited to that, please send an invite. Because I would like to. But yeah, okay. So we're gonna postpone deciding on that. Yes. All right. If there's nothing else to talk about, then, because I think we're just gonna, I think we should push that back to working group tomorrow. Tex, could you click on the budget decisions? Like.
Yep. And just for reference, Elaine, you are already on that call tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I did not realize. All right. The Cardano's by 2031?
No, it's should be at 6 p.m. your time, 7 p.m. your time.
I think I might not. I need to check my email to see if it got like black holed or something.
Okay.
I will do that. Thank you. SSF inherited the best practices. That's a good point, Georg. Yes. So, all right. So then we have the budget. We have some budget decisions that we wanted to talk about. Number one was the USDM conversion. So that was I think a lot of people talked about that one. That was with respect to if we want to just hold assets for paying people out in USDM instead of ADA. There were some concerns raised about if there's even enough USDM liquidity to do that. What are we going to do about that? So on and so forth. So, yeah. Anybody wants to elaborate more on that? Tex?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. As we asked more about this, I believe this is being done across a couple of different proposals. What Intersect is proposing to do is use the excess of ADA that we would not be utilizing because we are associating to a US dollar format to expend some of those costs to actually create the liquidity in USDM. So they would be minting new tokens in this case.
Jonathan Kelly?
Yeah, my only question, I didn't get it answered off this call, so I'll just quite quickly check. Oh, 1 second. I've got a knock on the door. Okay, that's dealt with. The jurisdiction in which Intersect is based and manages things, is it a jurisdiction in which USDM can be freely minted? Because there are some states where that's not yet regulatory compliant.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're working an OTC deal. Essentially, they're swapping ADA for somebody that will mint USDM in their jurisdiction.
Oh, well, that's fine. And OTC is better for slippage as well.
Right. So I believe that's the strategy, essentially. So.
Okay. Oh, Sebastian?
Yeah, hi, everybody. The liquidity for USDM is zero, and that's a fact. They are looking for people to start investing in the USDM token or something like that. I'd like to know the details about this kind of procedure. I know we are hearing in this moment some general details about general plans about it, but as committee member, I'd like to know more in text, in documentation about what's the plan to go in this initiative. Thanks.
So I wanted to raise something about that. The purpose of this, I suppose, then, just if I'm like understanding correctly, is so that we can lock in a certain ADA exchange rate for like paying out anything that we have to pay out in US dollars. So it's just to push up the like when we actually cash that out, so that we don't have to pay a variable amount of ADA in the future. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, what I'm a little bit uncomfortable about this is the request from in this case Intersect is a little bit informal. Yes, because until today I haven't seen some kind of document or formal document asking for that kind of proposal. It's in the conversation, but not formally in a document that we and the people in general can go and read, right? Because at the end is public money. So I would like to see this in document, definitely. I understand the mechanics, one-to-one, in US dollar. I know all that, but I'd like to see some more formal ways to reflect on this.
Text?
Yeah, so I was just going to clarify on the pointing a value in ADA. Basically, the issue with that is that we can spot rate it, right? Or Intersect can spot rate it. If ADA goes up, it's not a problem. It's more valuable to the recipient. If ADA goes down, then we would need to consider a separate disbursement later on in the program after funds are available. It's just a lot more jumbled. I'm not necessarily an advocate one way or the other. If I'm speaking personally, if I was an individual contributor member of the committee, I would probably be more on the if we're collecting ADA from the Treasury, I would rather spend ADA explicitly. But you know, USDM is more in line with what the committee has agreed to pay on. So moving to that reference, using a stable coin that is on Cardano and is providing other benefits to the ecosystem, I think is a positive way of going about that. But
So there was the thing that we were that we mentioned before. Adam, Dean, and Georg brought this up. We, I think, previously agreed to, and please correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think we previously did agree and then clarify, like, also that we were going to pay people in US, or what was it, USD or ADA? Could somebody remind me?
The budgeting was set up in such a way that the value of the total budget was in US dollars, but that was at an exchange rate with ADA. The exchange rate with ADA was fixed at the time in the budget just for convenience for people to see what that ratio would be. But since then, ADA's value has gone up. So in the conversion of this to USDM, it would bring it in line with the USD budget, and it would also provide excess ADA at the end of the budgetary year to go back to the Treasury.
Yep. And we spot rated it at 50 cents at the time. So effectively, if we're at $1, we're double what the need is for the committee.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if we've already I guess there's like a few things here that, like, if we've already agreed that we're going to pay people in like what's effectively like a fixed amount of USD, right? Then I think at least theoretically it would be good to pay people in USDM. I have a question about that though, and I think ultimately there's enough questions with this that yeah, we do want to get that like a formal document like with motivation and stuff like written. But how much would we be paying like to like actually mint all of this?
That's
Does anyone
another
know?
question that can go on that document.
Yes. Okay.
I'll just generally say that using an OTC over the counter method does reduce cost in that regard, but a proper formal reporting of what the cost is important in any case.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Tech said, he's taken a list of questions that we can ask the Intersect leadership to provide more clarity on, and I think that's a good one. Like, what would the cost associated with that swap from ADA to USDM be? And then we can go from there. Because I'm sure there is some minor premium somewhere or some sort of fee.
I did ping Jack. Hopefully he's able to join for 2 to 3 minutes. If not, then we'll just take the questions.
Yeah. Tex?
Where would the committee prefer to organize these questions, or drop them to me, or like, should I put a post in Discord and have everyone reply specifically to that post to avoid threading? Should I just create a document and expect everyone to contribute?
No, do one of the threads like we've been doing in Discord. I think those have been getting more engagement than our Google Drive comments have been doing. So let's just do a thread in Discord, give everybody a few days to add their questions, and then let's move forward so that we can hopefully have an answer by the time the next meeting comes around.
Yeah, I think we should do like something on Discord at least. Yeah, I think we should do a thread if nobody has any disagreements. Anyone? Okay. Yeah, okay. So let's all like type up our questions there, and then I guess we can move on. One last thing about that. I will say that I'm personally inclined to do it rather than to not, as long as we can work out like all the details, and as long as we're not paying like some crazy amount to like actually mint everything. If we're just paying like, I don't know, like 100 USD to like do all that, I think it would easily be a win. But I don't know if the fees are that low. We'll see. Oh, James.
Hey guys, sorry, I don't mean to butt in, but I do have a little context for you guys having to do with the overall conversion through the OTC market. What would be interesting is that if the committees were all grouped together, I know product committees already talked about this as well. It's funny that we're all on the same conversation having to do with this. If we all group together based on what we were going to turn into USD and then go ahead and mint, the mint is zero, cost zero in order to mint through USDM. So there's no cost there whatsoever. The OTC cost through the vendor that's currently doing it will be 0.5 as a starting number. And then from there, it can be reduced based on the amount. So if we group together all of our committees together and grouped it into one trade as a whole, we would probably reduce it even lower. So that might actually be, yes, Adam, 0.5, I believe, is the number to start with. And then from there, it goes lower, depending on the amount.
Right, but so we should say, in case anybody can't see the chat, 0.5%, not half, right? When we're saying 0.5.
It'd be funny if it was.
Oh, James, you accidentally muted, bud.
Oh, sorry, I'm not a mather. Apologies. I will leave that to the mathers here.
Yeah. Text?
Yeah, apologies if this is totally off base, but regarding the new budget info action that's out there, is there any cross relation here or correlation?
What is the new budget info action? I have not checked GovTools in a bit.
Let me pull up specific.
I think he's referring to the stablecoin liquidity budget that's currently being proposed, but no, this is completely separate from that.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be. That's a separate entity altogether, Tex.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm inclined towards moving forward with that if we can move out, if we can get all the details and stuff. So I think we should probably organize something with all the committees together. Yeah. Okay. If there's nothing else
Sorry,
to, oh,
just a second question. But some committees have are in the capacity of dissent of the decision of obligatory. There should be a common decision on that, an equal decision on some committees can say, okay, we don't want to do this, you go ahead, or something like that. Or at the end of the day, we need a common, an equal decision. It is, there is a space to dissent in this kind of consideration. Yes, thanks a lot.
is there space to dissent, you said?
Okay, this committee can say, no, we prefer don't do that. Is it possible?
I think like under what everyone has been saying, like this is not related to anything like that's like an info action that's been approved or whatever. I think it ultimately does come down to like the committee's decision. At least personally, I don't see any reason why we couldn't say no.
I have reasons. For myself, I have reasons to go slow with this, but we can continue the discussion in Discord.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
To clarify too, because it was included in the proposal, the committee has delegated authority over its budget and can decide. Jack is in line with that. He only will question if it's an operational concern, but he will work with the committee to that and propose the options if it comes to that and work with y'all for a consensus. But at the end of the day, he's completely in line with committee decisions.
Okay.
Hey, Tex, check the chat.
Yeah.
To be clear, there's only two committees that actually have discrete budgets, and that's the product committee and the open source committee. And like none of the other committees have their own budgets. They're just working with whatever scraps Intersect gives to them from the Intersect operational budget. But the OSC and the product committee were the only two that actually got dedicated budgets to execute on specific mandates that they received, you know, directly from the DREPs by being approved.
Yeah, before James goes, sorry, I'll interrupt for a sec. I do, yeah, I can totally just set up a meeting with product committee chair. I guess we could talk about that. I suppose, do we want to decide as a committee? Well, I guess we should set up a meeting first to talk about it, and then we do our decision, and then, you know, we proceed or not. Again, like I'm personally inclined for it. But you know, we will have like a formal vote and everything on that. Yeah, James.
But two things. One is we would love to have you guys, either yourself or the vice chair, coming over to the product committee on Tuesdays. We're there and we have an open, and then we could just talk about that. We'll put that on the actual schedule to discuss, and then we could just knock it out right there. That would probably be the easiest way to do that. And then on the other part, if it's all under Intersect MBO, it might be a little bit easier, Tex. And then from there, you're just discussing whether or not the committees and what the percentage is and all the stuff that go along with that come to consensus. And then from there, you group it all into one large OTC swap, and that would reduce the rate dramatically and reduce costs, which I think would be extraordinarily important for Intersect, and also set a precedent as being responsible with treasury funds.
Yeah, Jonathan, Kelly, and then I'll say something.
Yeah,
else.
just like sake of recording, in case of anyone not having context, James does represent USDM in this case in some regard. So just take that. But yes, my point was we've already made a decision to raise a thread. Adam's put this in the chat just now with open questions that will be formally replied to in a report. And once we have that report, that's when the voting should take place, in my opinion, as opposed to what was just suggested of doing a vote prior to getting those responses.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in favor of that. Cool. Yeah, all right. So then I suppose yeah, that's we've figured out a plan for that, so we can move on. Anything else anybody wants to raise on this topic before we move on? Christian, how old? A kid?
Bear with me just a second here.
Yeah, Tex?
Okay. I was just trying to verify. We're working with procurement to get contracts over the line right now. The first three is the travel, the bug bounty, and the developer advocate program. As it stands, the up-to-date information, kind of immediate up-to-date information, is that the USDM option is not technically set up as of yet. It's still in testing. So these first three statements of work, these first three programs may go over the line in ADA prior to this conversation. So I'll try my best to keep you guys updated there. Basically, I'm going to get some more clarity amidst us getting answers to the questions that you all have, and let's pass it to Jack, actually. So you're going to put him on the spot.
Thank you for joining, Jack.
That's all right, no problem. Let me know what I'm joining. That's right on the spot.
Yeah.
No context.
So it's questions around using USDM as an option for payout of stuff, and they had questions around the minting strategy and what Intersect's proposing towards that option for the liquidity issues.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess it depends if we don't have to use USDM, by the way. It was just a suggestion if we wanted to lock in the USD value so that we could understand exactly what excess potentially is there and that we could return to the treasury soon once we've done that that minting. The process we have at the moment is we've got relationships with NBX and Anzens and Encryptus, so for USDM and for USDA, and we can directly mint new USDM for USD. And so that is the consideration that we have, right? That we'll take that ADA or some ADA that's available to us from the Open Source Committee at least. We would then do OTC trades where required to get the available USD, and then we'd issue new USDM or mint new USDM by depositing USD, of course. And then we would bring that USDM back into the smart contract framework that we have for every vendor, and then start distributing payments where required in USDM. So it's new liquidity, but it does obviously involve the fiat swap. As with any new minting of USDM or USDA, requires that USD to be deposited. Yeah, really. So I guess, long story short, that's how we do it. But it depends, of course, if the committee want to use USDM. There is or USDA. There is just obviously there's a practical bit to it to have a clear view on what's excess or not. So we return that to the treasury, like, in a couple of weeks, right? Or we just continue to track and monitor it throughout the life cycle of this contract. And then whatever ADA has not been utilized for whatever reason, right? Maybe initiative didn't start or not, we didn't get 50 or 25 maintainer projects, for example. That money goes back to the treasury sort of towards the end of the life cycle rather than at the beginning. I'll take some thoughts and feedback though. Open to it. Yes, Adam.
So what is Intersect's stance? Right now, while the candles are green and number goes up, everybody's happy, everybody's winning. Does Intersect have a stance if, God forbid, for some reason, the price went down below 50 cents? Are we required to continue to budget and pay at the 50-cent rate that was specified in our budget, right? Because it's all well and good to talk about spending less ADA. What happens if we need to spend more ADA to spend the same amount of US dollar equivalency that we budgeted for? Does Intersect as an administrator have a stance in that regard? I mean, I would personally be in favor of 50 cents is as low as we could possibly go in terms of a spot rate, but that's just one voice amongst the many here.
Yeah, it's a good question, Adam. So I guess we don't have a stance as an administrator. It's a vendor decision on how they want to run their business, right? Because some people have multiple payments in ADA or multiple payments in fiat. And it's just different for different people. So there isn't really a guideline from an administrator perspective, but internally, at least how we're doing it from our own accounting, is that we will be locking up stabilizing some of our proposal in stables for the reasons you just mentioned, right? So that we can continue to operate and not be at risk if it's at 30 cents, for example. But we also do have commitments in ADA too. So we won't be doing the entire our entire proposal value in USDM because we have commitments in ADA too. So yeah, I know that's a bit of a shit answer, but essentially we don't have a stance because it's individual case by case per vendor. Yeah.
Just want to raise Jonathan Kelly asked you if you could answer like in writing, like in the chat.
No, I'm asking James. Yeah, it was a question in chat. What is the fee to get USD
Yeah, so
out of?
I can respond to that. We currently have a fee to burn out. It's very low with a $50, I think, minimum. But for Intersect, we would lower that to zero, just to make sure that it's kind of like an enterprise account type setup versus a regular retail setup.
Yeah, but the question is for the projects receiving the funds in the budgetary lines, would those projects also be extended that same offer?
Yes.
Well, that reduces the problem.
And Johnny, just to add to James there is an OTC plus minting sort of cost. So not just at the burn point, James, which you just mentioned. We've worked that out with obviously yourself, James, and NBX and the Anzen guys. So roughly 0.4%, Johnny.
That contradicts a previous statement by James of 0.5%.
We had 0.5 to start, and then if it were to be depending on the amount. Jack, you came in after we talked about a little bit on the idea that if the MBO, along with, let's say, product committee and this committee decided to go ahead and do an OTC, they already had a lump sum amount that they were going to do, that rate would be reduced. I know that on MBX's side, I can't speak to Anzen's, but if the amount were higher, the rate would be lowered just based on the amount being converted. So they can manage that and actually lower it down. So it would actually make it cheaper if we were to group together versus doing it separately or independently.
I will acknowledge that you did make that statement that price reductions could happen in both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, James. I wasn't clear on the economies of scale idea. Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, there's a timing aspect to that and coordinating to do the economies of scale sort of thing at the same time. Yeah, so I guess the question for the open source committee, and forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, guys, do correct me, is ultimately the question is, how do we want to track and manage where there may be excess? I take your point, Adam, on the fact that there may not be excess. Like there might be excess today, but in 6 months there might not be, and we're actually could be breaking even by the end of the contract life cycle. So do we do that? Do we just constantly monitor it, and by the sort of the end of the year or sort of midway through 2026, we go, right, okay, there's $1 million ADA actually that we've not utilized, and now we're going to put that back in the treasury? Or do we want to guarantee the USD value of the contract today, because we can, at the rate we are today, in USDM and USDA or whatever combination? And there are associated costs and logistics involved, but it's doable. Just one more.
My consideration is we're at a time where we are nearly double the USD value of our budget that we proposed and got approved. So do we have a fiduciary responsibility to lock in that value to ensure that we can execute on the mission regardless of market price action reliably? Even if we say we're going to convert to USDM plus 10% or whatever to handle, so we could waive the fees or help people with slippage or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so for me, I'm leaning towards we should make that conversion, and then we can guarantee to the community that we are going to give you back 3.5 million ADA or however much it is. It's a not insubstantial amount of ADA that would be going back to the treasury. So that's more important to me than letting our vendors speculate and be like, ooh, maybe I'll get more or less ADA depending on how time goes by, you know. But yeah, I think we've kind of beat this horse to death for what we can accomplish during today's meeting, but I'll go to the hands.
I'll continue beating that horse for a moment. Yes, I agree in principle that de-risking from volatility of the market of the value of ADA is a good fiduciary responsibility thing to do, and also securing an actual amount of ADA to go back to the Treasury would be a goodwill thing for committees to do in general, year on year. If they can bring money back, that increases the value overall.
Okay. Yeah, I think then we have everything on that. Maybe not answered, but like we have next steps on that. So, again, unless anybody has any further questions, actually, probably even if anybody has any further questions, we're running out of time. So, yeah, Jack.
I'm sorry, I don't want to push this too much. I just wanted to be clear on next steps from an Intersect perspective. The functionality in the smart contract framework means that what we would do is we would take out the USD value of what we, at least in the moment, believe it's going to be plus 10%. I think sort of what I agree with that, and that's how we're doing it for others, just to cover any fees and back and forth. We have to take it out of the smart contract framework. We send it to the our MDX account that we have. We'll do the necessary mint, and then we bring it back to the smart contract framework, and then we start to fund the open source vendor contracts from there. So that roughly is about a week of SLA, just to let you know, for the funds to then be available in the smart contract framework. About a week of doing things, because we have to coordinate the oversight committee. There's like 7 different signers, so it's just a bit of coordination, but totally doable. And we're doing it for Tweak, so we can do Tweak first, which is I think next week, and then we can give you an update on how that's gone. But at the same time, James, we can talk about economies of scale. So I don't want to. Sorry, Elaine. I know you want to get on with other stuff. I'll stop talking. We can follow this up separately.
No, yeah, it's all good. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. Okay. Johnny, can you send a transcript to? Oh yeah. I can. Oh well, okay. So text or Christian's already like on top of that, so never mind. I will not. Okay, let's move on then on to events policy and then events list. Yes. Okay. So Tex wrote up a like an expensing policy for like events. So covering travel and stuff. What's up?
It's an Intersect created policy.
Oh, really? Like the entire
Just
document?
reformatted. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So has everyone had a chance to review that yet? I will say that I have reviewed it. Nobody?
I have not
Okay.
seen that one.
Okay. So I guess we can't I don't know if we can vote on it during this meeting, but we did want to get that finalized today, I think. So if everybody could read that soon and then raise everything. I don't think we have enough time to read it in this call, but I will raise one thing that I wanted to raise first. I think that we need ideally on per diem policy for food, at least on even OSC members. And the reason for that is quite straightforward. If you're working in Colombia, I'll say Japan, if you're working in anywhere with a weak currency, let's say, and then you go to an event in the United States or as a very real hypothetical that happens to people Switzerland, and you're going to Zurich or something, you're going to pay an insane amount of food. Just even if you're just going to, you're going to pay an insane amount for food, even if you're just going to Subway. And you probably can't cook in a hotel, or you can't amortize anything because you're gonna be leaving soon. So I'm very strongly preferring that we have some type of per diem policy for OSC members as well. I don't think it has to be crazy high, but I think we need something for that with receipts and everything. Yeah, Christian?
Yeah, just to clarify too, the thing of this policy too is it's to reduce us also having to do admin with having to get everything approved by the OSC for every transaction thing. So if it's in the policy, it's automatically approved, and it gets reviewed via the Intersect processing it. So that's the other reason for this.
Wait, so if it's in the policy, then it gets auto approved, but if it's not in the policy, then like we can still approve it? Am I getting that right?
The idea is for me to book a flight and hotel, instead of having to come to the OSC to individually review that, if it's in compliance with the approved policy, it's just an expense that gets submitted. We don't need the OSC to look at every single expense. But if it exceeds that amount, that's where it needs to become an OSC topic.
Okay.
That's the guidance behind the policy, just to streamline processing.
Okay, but to be clear, like the policy in its current format has a per diem allocated only towards external members. Am I getting that right? Or, well, I guess if you could answer that question first, and then we'll go to Adam and Jack.
I'll pass it to Jack.
Oh, we skipped
Well,
the.
I'm speed reading the policy right now, and there is a per diem allowance that does specifically cover food, but just for everybody's awareness, there's a link to Intersect per diem guidance inside of this PDF that it requires approval to read. So it is not a public doc.
We'll get that sorted.
Yeah, we'll get that fixed. Okay. Elaine, so yes, if it's in the policy already, Adam, thanks for checking. But yeah, I agree with you, Elaine. Definitely per diem value. The just to elaborate slightly more on what Christian said, the other point of this policy being a consistent one across all committees as well, is that there is shared guidelines, so everyone sort of knows what rules they're operating within together, right, collectively. And it also means that if you have private accessibility issues, or you bought whatever you bought for lunch, you don't necessarily want your fellow committee members looking at what you have for lunch. It goes in, it just, because it's part of the policy, it can just come straight to our billing team, and it doesn't have to go through that approval. The only thing that does need approval is what open source committee members have been approved to travel, and that needs to be a decision taken by the OSC. And then when they are approved by this group, then they're in the policy. And if there are some above policy, like if it goes above the cost, maybe it's a last minute booking and it's $300 more, we can take that on a discretionary basis. That might need to be part of the open source committee view. But the idea here as well, more broadly, is that we bring in the accounting team and the tracking by Christina's Heck, so you can see where we're actually tracking against the budget in quite a lot of granularity regularly. So you can see, okay, well, we can afford to go over this, or we whatever it is. But broadly speaking, it's privacy and streamlining, as Chris said.
Okay.
And just as an offhand comment, a number of people would openly document what they've been eating while they've been traveling to events.
Yeah, personally, I don't really like mine.
Yeah, I mean,
but
if I didn't share a foodie of my meal, did I even eat? It's a question that does stand to be asked. But yeah, so Elaine, to your point, in the PDF, it does say external participants are eligible for a daily per diem, which I think is what's causing some of that confusion. Does that mean committee members don't get the per diem? Like, why an explicit external participants? That's the language in there. That's weird.
We'll fix that, Adam. That's fair enough. We'll fix that up. Yeah.
okay. All right, then I think that clarified everything. I don't have any further objections to it, but if anybody has any objections to this further, like if speak now or not speak now.
The only
hold your peace.
Elaine, just one thing I wanted to make you aware of is it reasonable? Is it fair? Like in value and numbers, like I'm open to the committee saying, actually, that long haul is just, well, we can't get long haul tickets for $1,500, right? It's difficult for me wherever you are in the world. Like, is it reasonable and fair? If you think it is, great, and we'll roll with it. But yeah, that's principally what I'd love the committee to make sure that I don't want to be a ball breaker or be really strict on stuff if it's unfair. You know what I mean?
Is it fair that? Sorry, I don't understand the question. Is it fair if we submit it privately?
No. To a specific example, are the values for flight reimbursement and accommodation, are they fair? Are they reasonable? Like, I can stay in a hostel with that value. I think they are fair, but that's what I like the committees to. We're all from different parts of the world. It's a lane.
Yeah. When I checked them, I believe they were fair, but I'll give them a double check, like asynchronously, and give my opinion on that. Text. Oh, bye, Arno.
Following up to schedule an off-cycle meeting next week to come back on these decisions here, USDM, travel.
Yeah, I'm available for it. Also, we just I'm in favor of that. If everybody else could react on that, that'd be good. So we are out of time. Does everybody have like a few more minutes to get through the rest of this stuff? Because we have a few more items on the agenda, and then we also have to talk about the interview questions. Yes.
This
No.
year we can. Oh, sorry.
We'll stop the recording before discussing interview questions openly.
Yeah, but we'll do that after. Okay. Sorry, Tex.
Yeah, just on the screen that we're looking at here, obviously the events policy, we'll circle back with that next week. The events list. I've asked everyone in the Discord to just utilize the form that was created as if you were requesting to go to an event. I'm going to ask just openly, just any event that you might even be considering, or that you would consider if you were still on the committee or whatever, anything like that. I'm asking this to all participants. Just please throw those events in there so that we have awareness of them. One of the first milestones on that, once that contract is over the line, is that list of events. So we're kind of backdragging there a little bit, but
okay. We need by end of the month. Okay, I will add some events to that. I'm definitely going to go to the one in Tokyo, so I just need yeah. That won't end up being very much. I think it's just attendance and stuff. Okay.
the last thing was the developer advocate contract. If everyone's had a chance to look at that one.
Yeah, so I have looked at that. It seems good. I think Georg had something to say about this. Is Georg still with us?
I'm here.
My rent is lodging prorated, yeah, for like 3 days. Yeah, go ahead.
So what's the question?
About because you said that there was like that the wording in like the developer advocate contract was like too loose. If I recall correctly, I did not like feel the same way, but I wanted to hear your opinion on this.
When I think of defining milestones, they should be written, in my opinion, as this was accomplished. So in past tense, with clear indicators of what are the acceptance criteria for a milestone. And currently it's written as do this, action verbs for we expect you to organize, to attend, to do this. And there's no way to know other than, yes, I did this, but it was the goal actually achieved, was the milestone achieved. That is just a language thing. I fully agree with all the things that we asked them to do. So if this is how we need to submit it, I will not stand in the way. Just from my experience, defining milestones should have acceptance criteria to judge against if it was delivered what we wanted to be delivered.
Yeah, text it. Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah. Sorry that my brain got jogged on this now. Essentially, what would be in the document is the milestones. Those milestones corresponding directly with if they achieve that milestone, that is their deliverable. We could reformat what is in the contract to the actual deliverables if that's preferential to the committee. But the actual delivery is the milestone acceptance forms in which I would need to fill out and or assist the developer advocates in filling out to say, I did this, I did this, I did this. in those reports that we have to start providing, I think at the end of Q1. But I can double check that. Apologies. The clarification there is what's in the contract is the milestone as opposed to the deliverable. So I can go back through and change that text if that's preferred by a group majority.
Yeah. I think if it's not too much work, I mean, we might as well just change the phrasing. I mean, I don't personally see it, but like better safe than sorry, especially if we don't have, it's not like a huge amount of work to change. Okay. Does anybody disagree with that? Can we move ahead? Okay. I guess that's it then. Oh, there was another thing that we wanted to mention. Tech, like this. Text. Did we need to mention the like if like the OSC staffing stuff?
On which?
On like committee members, the list of them.
The stipend thing?
Not the
Are you
stipend.
talking about elections with people stepping down or by staffing?
I meant like more like sorry, I was beating around the bush. If we needed to talk about talk about the people who had stepped down.
Yeah, I'll take that on me. That should have been announced at the beginning of the meeting. So Niels has officially stepped down or resigned from the open source committee. So that was submitted on the back end there. We are discussing with Philip, who's the only other non-attender there, or non-consistent attender. I know we've had him in some other times, but we're just looking at that balance. Again, as it stands, there wouldn't necessarily be any change or replacement since we'd be electing a full 5 here in October. So we'd still be at 8 if we fully elect, or when we fully elect.
Oh, wait. So we can't replace Niels? Like, so we're going to be staffed less? Or
we would only be down. Let's say that Philip is still around here, right?
Yeah.
We're at 9 members at that point.
Right.
'Cause
Can't we just bring like the 6th and 7th position from the elections and give them like the remaining balance of those abdicated seats? Like, so they're up for re-election again in April, but at least we have bodies in those positions.
At the end of the day, I can be overridden, but what's been happening in other committees has been to keep the election cycles at 5 where possible, and then backfill as needed. But the backfill as needed is that a committee should have a minimum of 7 and a maximum of 10 as of right now.
So, sorry, how would we backfill exactly?
So it's not in play because we're not underneath the 7 minimum.
Oh,
Otherwise, it would go from the most recent election cycle.
Yeah,
Is
you
that-
would just go down, right? The results of who was 6th or 7th, for example.
okay. Is that something that like categorically blocks us from like filling someone in? Because I would lean more towards like if we're going to like if Niels has stepped down, you know, like we are a little bit low on like you know, committee member hours. I think I would be leaning towards like if possible
So,
we can get somebody.
Yeah, in 1 month we have 5 fresh members coming in.
Mhm.
Right, I understand that that's a month away.
Oh,
but
okay, I see. Yeah, we'll have 5 more. Okay.
Well, no, but that's because 5 of us are standing for election and some of us are not rerunning. So you're going to have potentially 5 greenfield members that aren't familiar with the programs and everything. And so there's going to be literally 2 or 3 of you, maybe, that remain to try to bring everybody else up to speed. I mean, I'm definitely in favor of adding somebody to the election for anybody that's dropped out, adding one more spot to the election that's only serves until April. So that way in April, we do elect 5 again, but fill those spots so that we have the hands to help with all these programs that are going.
Yeah, and Niels and Phil were related to the last election, so they have that year term that needs to be accounted for.
That's what Adam was speaking to. Adam was speaking to the replacement serving out only the remaining term of Niels and Phil, if Phil were to drop, so as to keep the cadence.
Yeah, like if a senator in the U.S. like abdicates or whatever, somebody gets appointed by the governor, but they only serve out until the next election cycle, and then they get reelected. Then they have to stand for reelection or whatever. So either we appoint somebody into those positions for until April, or we just take the next 2 in line from the October elections. But I think we absolutely should fill those seats.
I think I was confused, like, sorry, on me, but like, so the number of active committee members, like in a few months is going to like be the same or lower as like right now. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. I definitely think that we need, in that case, we should figure out something to like, appoint people, or not appoint necessarily, but like we got to figure out somebody to do that. Cause yeah, that is going to be a little rough. What would be our version of like the Secretary of Agriculture, like stepping up at like, or whatever, like for succession? Should be on another call. Yeah, I guess we're over time. It's a stupid joke, by the way. It's just like, if you look at the actual presidential succession like rules, like the Secretary of Agriculture is on there, like way down there. Okay, we should set up, or I guess we can talk about that at the next call that Tex already mentioned of like next week off cadence.
Well, I would go to Jack one last time before closing the thread.
Okay. Jack?
It was just a point on the appointing bit, or I see where Adam's coming from, and it was actually in my mind when we were speaking about this yesterday, Tex, Christian, or the other day, if I remember what day it was. We could simply use the April election results and then look who was the next in line and appoint them for 6 months. You could do that tomorrow, right? You'd have to see if they're still interested, of course, but you could do that tomorrow. And then you'd have some level of continuity moving through October. I think that's okay for me. I don't see why that'd be a problem, but I don't know if I'm reading the room right.
Right. Yeah. The question is, where and how do we find an appointee to replace, right? And Jörg has a good point. Diane was originally elected from Bitergia. She couldn't continue on the committee due to time commitment issues. So we got Jörg, but they are an enterprise seat, so it's slightly different there, because normally we wouldn't allow Adam to say like, hey, I'm quitting, guys, but you guys get this person in my stead. I'm okay with taking the runners up from the April election or the runners up from the October election, but either way, we should use that as precedent to appoint somebody to appoint these 1 or 2 seats that are vacant through to April, so that way the committee is at full staff and can actually get work done.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
I don't know if he's still here, but next in line was actually selected as a developer advocate. So.
I mean,
From April.
right? Like if he's serving out, we get into one of these weird roles. I don't know. Maybe he just can't. He has to abstain from anything having to do with developer advocates in that case. So.
2 stipends.
Yeah, I mean, again, they have to abstain, right? Like they have to choose one or the other or something. I don't know, but yeah, there's always that trickiness. So
the point is right though, Adam. Like there's lots of work the Open Source Committee have got, and they've got the biggest program really outside of, well, really in Intersect, to be honest. There's lots going on for open source. So we need full staff. We need full coverage in the committee. I completely agree, especially with all the approvals and things. So yeah, I'm happy to be flexible here. And text, maybe we look at the sort of process for October and think about that. I don't think the open source committee are alone with this either, but they do have a particular importance for having full coverage.
Yeah, I would say we should probably look at the backfill, but do it from the October electorates, because it's completely different from the motion that we put forth in April. And any comms that the committee chooses to have me organize or provide in any X spaces, it's going to be a lot different as to the responsibility that somebody has to have when applying to the committee. So from previous, I'm saying. So we get better selection by picking up from those that don't make the top 5. We kind of allow them in, but they're only on 6 months. So
yeah, exactly, something like that. For the October, I agree. Tex probably makes more sense. Okay.
I'll take that back on the election side of things. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully, we have at least 7 candidates then.
Yeah. Well, now that there is a ratified budget, we're not in a position of not knowing what the rules are and what's established. I think more people, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, taps his own head, people will actually be interested in applying more to these things, because there is a clear remit and budget to manage.
I also agree that we should make Adam do everything until re-election.
Yeah, no, I'm out. So yeah, you had me for like a year and a half. Like I'm at my time.
Come on, man.
It's okay. Most people leave me.
The quitters in Cardano.
I too am a quitter.
Yeah, Tex.
If we are ready, I'll drop this to a close and I'll put a new link in the Discord here for the interview questions.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for the time.
Thank you.
Thanks guys for letting me come up. See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Where's that link? Oh,
He's pinning it up soon.
okay. Guess I'll just chill here.
All right. Everybody's left. It's just you and me. How's life?
Oh, it's okay. I didn't sleep well last night for some reason. Just had a.
I'm not sure if the recording still runs, but
Oh, I think it is. Well, now people are gonna know that I didn't sleep well because I had a cough.
It's all right. I was up last night talking to my mom's friend, visited a friend in hospital, then visited her, and I was up talking until 3:30 in the morning with her. So old family friend. But yeah, I'm sure people will be riveted by that. Yeah.
I mean, if you want, people can. Yeah. Yeah. No. I'm kind of sad that the Korea thing didn't work out. That we got rejected from the.
Happens. Did you stop the recording? Did you have the ability?
I'm trying, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just not.
Maybe if you want to have a chat, we could do a different meeting.
Yeah, I guess it's like not allowed because it shows me that like you're not allowed to record this video call, but I think I'm also not allowed to stop it. So.
Well, if you fancy chat anytime, let me know in DMs. But yeah, we'll end it here just so the text doesn't have too much to edit out.
Right. Yes. Okay. All right. See ya.